Divorces are tough enough. Now, when you're selling a property as a divorcing couple during the pendency of the divorce, and one of the homeowners doesn't want to sell the property, things can get very complicated very quickly. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the legal implications that can occur when a property is being sold while there's a pending divorce happening, and some of the ways to navigate that. My name is Ahmad from Landtrust Title of Central Florida. Let's talk title. Now, in the state of Florida, Florida statutes dictate that a married couple is considered married until they are actually legally divorced. In other states, there's a difference between being married, being separated, and being divorced. In Florida, the couple is considered married, and all of the obligations and all of the legal requirements and all of the protections that exist will continue to exist until an actual divorce decree has been filed by the judge. And what does that mean when we have a property that's titled in the name of two spouses, and in the case where one of the spouses doesn't want to sell the property, how do we navigate that type of a situation? Now, when it comes to homestead property, we already know that if there's a married couple and they're utilizing the property as a primary residence, the property can't be sold without both people signing off on all the documents. If there's a second home or an investment property and both spouses are on the title of the property, again, we run into the same issue. Now, what happens, in a situation where a couple is divorcing and the property is pre-foreclosure, but one of the spouses, for whatever the reason might be, whether it's a legal implication or whether it's out of spite, just doesn't agree to sign any of the documents, including the contract, any of the closing documents, and is just making life difficult. Now, in that type of a situation, there's a few ways to navigate that. First is trying to negotiate between the attorneys that are representing the spouses to try to come up with some type of an amicable solution between the spouses to ensure that the properties are sold and the spouses don't deal with any kind of issues or legal implications about not making payments on properties in case the payments have stopped being made, and not dealing with any other kind of liens or encumbrances that get filed against the property. Now, what happens if there's negotiations, there's an attempt for amicable discussion, but one of the spouses decides to just plant their feet in the ground and say, no, I'm not signing anything associated with the closing, including a contract. In that type of a situation, the spouse that wants to sell the property or finds a need to sell the property can file what's called a partition lawsuit in the county where the property is located in an attempt to force the sale of the property, or at least force the sale of their ownership of the property, ultimately making the non-selling spouse buy out the interest of the spouse that wants to sell, so as to split the interest and let the spouses kind of walk away from each other as far as their interest in that property is concerned. If this happens, obviously the issue that we run into in many instances is that the costs associated with selling the property go up significantly, because both parties will have to pay additional money to their attorney to represent them as far as that partition lawsuit is concerned, and then ultimately get everything filed that needs to be filed, and then finally sold, or the interest being bought out by the non-selling spouse, so that the selling spouse can actually take their funds or their interest or whatever that they receive in that court settlement and walk away from their interest in that property. So navigating a sale of a property during the course of a divorce can make things so much more difficult. However, there are ways that you can navigate that by having discussions between the parties or between the attorneys. And ultimately, if you need to, you can get in front of a judge and try to force the sale, in particular if there's a need to do so in situations where if it doesn't happen, the property can go into foreclosure. Guys, if you found this video to be helpful, please like and subscribe and follow us to get more information on title-related issues, closing-related issues, and issues related to real estate law in general. We look forward to working with you.